Thank you for coming back to another episode of The Power of Leverage. This one's episode 6, and I've got my co-host here with me, Pavel. What's up, Pavel?
What's up, brother? How are you doing, man?
Good, good. And we've got Sharon today. She leads the virtual assistant team over at Virtudesk, and we're going to be talking about how to keep your VAs working at the highest level possible, and also how to keep pushing them in a great way so that it's a great environment. And I think, Sharon, you do that in such a great way
She
that
does.
we wanted to start off with you first. How are you today, Sharon?
Happy
I'm good.
birthday.
How are you guys?
Happy birthday, too. It's your birthday.
It is.
Are you
Thank
going to get
you.
some cake or what are you going to get?
I had one earlier today, so probably get another one tomorrow. Yeah.
Wait, how many days do you celebrate your birthday there? 2, 3, 4?
I guess it
Versus,
will be like I'll celebrate it for a week, I guess, because we have plans for the weekend.
I love that. I love that. How about you, Pavel? When's your birthday?
January 2nd, bro. I'm a January baby.
Oh, it
So,
passed.
yeah, I already passed. Yeah.
Mine's in November, so we
I
we
know.
got some time
Yeah.
too. So,
Yeah, we do.
well, let's get right into this, Sharon. One of the things that we often get asked before we get into keeping the virtual assistants working at a very high level is how to go through the process of hiring, right? And I always want to touch on that because you probably do it more than anybody I know because you run the whole VA teams, right?
That's
So
right. Mhm.
I know that the Virtudesk team put this awesome sheet together. I want to show it really quick and then transition over to you. Can you
Alrighty.
see my screen?
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you that can't see the screen, it's how to hire a virtual assistant. And it's an 8-page document. If you want it, just go ahead and message us or message me. But the thing here that's important to me, you see how it says document the tasks that you want to outsource? That's number one, right? And I don't
Yeah.
think a lot of people know that. And this is why they fail with their virtual assistants. It starts creating an environment of, from the very beginning, of really not really knowing what to expect from your virtual assistant. And I think that drives the wrong culture. What do you guys see on that?
Well, I know that a lot of agents, when they hire virtual assistant, they expect, like a magic wand. But again, you got to put in some work to work with somebody, and you got to have all this systems in place. So I think having this checklist, more of a like a cheat sheet, is a good start to know what you're gonna be doing, like a step-by-step instruction in order to actually have a success. When I first hired my virtual assistant, that was like, I think, about 6 7 years ago. I didn't
Mhm.
know what to do. I didn't know how to even get it done. But I'm basically kind of have like a natural instinct as far as, by trial and error,
Mhm.
working. So we worked out very well, and she was just mostly involved in doing the prospecting for me, and also some bookkeeping stuff. Then um, I moved her to the transactional stuff. But that was when I was a real estate agent, and then I became a real estate broker, and she was also helping me with that. But it's a
Got it.
good way to actually, it's a good start to have the checklist. So our team created that one to share with people, so at least people would know what to expect.
Yeah, I love this one, man. So I'm going to go through it really
Yeah.
quick, Sharon, and then I'll shift over to you. The
All
first one is
right.
document the tasks that you want to outsource, right? Easy. Create a job description so people know what the heck to do. Submit a hiring directory or go to Virtudesk, right? Where you guys train the right people for the jobs. Interview your top candidates after you've decided, well, I have a whole bunch of them now. Let's interview the right ones. Then you select your VA, then you start the onboarding and training process, and then it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. That's the whole 8 pages. But let me shift off of that and go to you, Sharon. Once you've hired the VA and once you have a system going and you're communicating with them, how do you keep them working at the highest level possible? Because I see so many agents fail after a month or 2 or 3.
Good question. Well, of course, the first thing that they would ask is how to choose the VA, right? So I guess they need to identify first what tasks are leveraging them the most. right? We know that everyone's time is valuable. So we need to start identify the things that they are ready to delegate the VAs. So I think that's the most important.
Yeah.
Okay, and what about you? So Sharon, you're out of the Philippines. You lead the virtual assistant team. How do you stay motivated to work at the highest level?
Well, a perfect example is with your team, right? I guess you started like March of 2018. I've handled your VA for the past like going 3 years now, right? So I guess as a coach, well, being a coach means that I have to think outside the box, right, and have foresight and critical, thinking skills. So this make me efficient in providing support and keep the balance for VAs and clients.
You know what I noticed, Sharon and Pavel? I
Yeah.
think the more that we empower, and this goes across all virtual staff. So in the United States or outside, doesn't even matter.
Mhm.
The more you empower the virtual staff or the staff that you have within your area, the more you allow them to grow, and the more you allow
Exactly.
them to take control over their job and create something that they're proud of. And
Oh
I
yeah.
don't think
Absolutely.
people in general do that enough, right? Like Pavel, you do that very well, where you let them be, right? You give them things that they need to do, and you're like, look, just get from A to Z. I don't care how you do it,
Just get it
right?
done. Yeah.
Just get it done. And
Yeah.
this is the vision.
Yeah.
And a lot of people micromanage their virtual staff. I mean, this is a big problem we've seen in the Harvard Business Review. There have
Mhm.
been a few articles on micromanaging and not doing this during the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Sharon,
Big time.
how is it that you balance that out with a virtual staff or just staff in general, where you let them be their own person, but at the same time you guide them? How do you
She's
balance that?
got 30. She's got 30 plus people that she's monitoring, that she's managing. So
Yeah, how do you do that? That's 30, man. I don't, Pavel, Sharon, I think I have like my whole virtual staff's like, my whole, including my US team, is like 15, right? So that's double. Sharon, you have double what I have. How do you manage that?
Right. Well, actually, I have an average of 30 clients, of whom may have one or more VAs. So, say for one client, some of them has three VAs, right? So, to keep the balance, we ensure that deliverables are completed. So, we monitor the VAs daily. We provide feedback on their actual, work performance as compared to expected performance. So, it's important that we touch base not only with the VA but also with the client. And when we do touch base with them, not only that we pay attention to, important details, but also to small details, because that way we can catch any problems while they are still small, right? And also, since the VAs and the clients have different personalities, we need to be seen as, fair, firm, friendly, and having foresight, I guess. So,
Okay. Well, let's talk about the virtual staff, because right now
mhm,
everybody's working virtually, right? In the United States,
yeah,
Philippines, everywhere.
totally.
And that's not changing. It actually, I've encouraged my whole staff to work virtually. So there's no need for an office. If you want to go to the office, you can, it's there. But I want my team to work virtually, because it allows us to work more. There's less interruptions, right? And so how do you, Sharon, this is for the virtual staff, not for
mhm.
the people that hire them, okay?
Okay.
For
Mhm.
the virtual staff, how do you keep them motivated to work at the highest level consistently? How do you do that? How do you do that?
Well, we educate the VA on how to establish a good working relationship with their clients by, being proactive and manage clients' expectations, right? So we also provide continued support from coaches, and we have subject matter experts who can also assist them real time.
Okay.
So
Those are the
yeah,
VAs that you have that you're managing. What about the VAs that you have that are working for you? Do you have any?
actually, this is for the VAs that I'm managing in general.
Okay. And Pavel, what about you, man? How do you make sure that your virtual staff continues to work at a high level? Because
Well,
now that we've been working together for like
for a while.
almost 3 months,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
team
I
is
know.
your team is insanely good, man. I was very surprised at how great your team is at working at a very, very high level consistently. So that
Thank
was
you, bro. Well,
how do you do that?
bro, I mean, what I do, I'm a little bit old school, so I have my little black book here. Uh, what I do, I have operations meeting. That actually black book keeps me more organized than any Google Sheets.
That's
I
because
write
hold on,
everything.
Pavel. Hold on. I think that's because you're Russian and you're scared of Russian hackers.
I don't know. Or maybe because I don't know.
Look, me too, man.
It's actually coming from the law practice days when I
Right?
had to write down everything by hand, But basically, the way I do it, bro, I have operations meetings with my operations team every week. It's twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays, where I
Mhm.
keep every coach accountable, every team lead accountable. As far as we go on the numbers, we go on performance. What happens is my virtual staff sends me daily end of day reports. Let's say Sharon is one of them, and I have other coaches. We have I think we have about eight or nine teams that
Okay.
are sending me daily accountability reports, so I know what's going on within a company. After that, what happens? I analyze that, and we have twice a week meetings with operations, because I'm mostly involved in operations and marketing and sales, but also in operations. That's where I'm like probably 70% of my time is with operations. So what I do, we check on the daily, on daily report, and also we see, besides the head count of everybody who's doing what, I check where I'm basically making coaches accountable for every VA, because sometimes VA can oversleep, sometimes VA can get sick. We had VAs who died, we had VAs who just disappeared. So obviously the coaches or the team lead like Sharon are being kept accountable to
Mhm.
every VA and making sure they um, more of a forecasting what could happen. The way to do it, Sharon could probably tell us more about how they can forecast what may happen to a VA, whether the VA may resign soon, or kind of like test the temperature in an essence.
Yeah, that's a great point, Pavel. I didn't even think of asking that. How do
Yeah.
you, Sharon, how do you monitor that they're doing okay and that they're actually emotionally and mentally okay so that they don't burn out or that they quit? Because I do hear that happens often as well outside of the ones we have here.
Right. Well, of course, our timely application is very helpful to, monitor their productivity. That's the first thing, because we're able to see how they're doing within their shifts, right? We can see the screenshots if they're working, their attendance, if they're late, or, if there are idle time during their shift. So from there, we're able to monitor their attendance. And with regard to their performance, it's from the client's feedback, right? So based on the client's feedback, we know if there are some things that is not working well with the VA. So usually when we touch base with the client, we ask them what are the things that are going well, and if there are things that still needs improvement, right? And from there, we'll coach the VA, and also we have a personal coaching or one-on-one coaching with the VA, and we're able to identify if, say, they say that they're having sometimes things happen, right? Or VA gets
That's life.
sick
Yeah.
or resign. So we,
Or
as much as
or usually we have like family member getting sick and VA resigns because they have to take care of the family member. And that's one of those things. Not a lot of people in the United States actually realize that, but Filipinos have very close family, connection, and a lot of multi-generational households. So if somebody gets sick in a household, they may have to resign to take care of that. So we kind of like trying to, be emphatic about that, also understanding. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we, as I say, the coaches are good at actually forecasting that. not this sickness, but general mood of the VA as far as what's going on.
Well, that also has a lot to do with how we treat them too. So
Exactly. Yeah.
it's that goes on with any staff member, right?
Oh yeah, big time.
So I think that's part of maintaining them working at the highest level possible. When you start treating them like they're your friends, right? Like they're
Exactly.
like you actually care about them because you do.
Yeah.
That's very key. So I'm going to go back a little bit. I want to show you something here that you mentioned. Let me see if I can pop it open. Oh, I can't here. I wish I could. But I wanted to show you the report that I get back. Every time I get a report back saying, hey, these are the things that I did at the end of the day. That's one way that we keep people accountable, right?
Yeah.
And it's important because I want to make sure, oh, here it is, good. Here's one report. I don't know if you can see it. It's small.
Yeah, we can.
All right, so I ask my VA team, virtual staff, doesn't matter where they are, to give me an end of the day report, just so I understand what's happening, right? And to make sure that they're keeping themselves accountable, as well as to understand what happened. So here you can see one of my video editors sent me this at the end of the day. The guy's, first of all, a rock star, okay? This guy crushes video like no other person I've ever hired before. And this is his report back to me. He goes, hey, Tristan, I rendered 13 videos today taking shots on social, which is our drunk on social one, and then sip on social, and then chime. He says, this is what I've edited. And he didn't even include this, but he also edited 2 other videos that I shot on the fly, right?
Wow, nice.
So
yeah.
This is the report that we get, right, at the end of the day. And at the end, I feel like, oh, dude, they're doing their job, and I see the results.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. So that's why I love that accountability report. It allows me to be a little bit more hands off, but keeping them going where they want. And I think that's really important, Sharon, because when people fail at working with virtual assistants, I think it's for 2 reasons. And Pavel, you can chime in on these, but these are the 2 reasons I've come up with. Number one is they don't have a full understanding of what those job duties are, right? We've talked about that. Yep. That's number one. And number 2 is they actually don't know how to manage a virtual assistant, right? Emotionally or with an actual job, right? What does it look like?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So Sharon, what do you think here on the managing part?
Well, on the managing part, after the VA has been endorsed to us, then we will facilitate the meet and greet, right? And from there, we will have a discussion of the roles, the VA roles, goals, and expectations from the client. I think in the beginning, I would recommend, like, especially say it's the first week, right, to have a weekly meeting with the VA and the client, right? So we start the onboarding process before day 1, and this will allow new VAs to get, acquainted with the company before they're expected to do any work. And also, for the onboarding, it allows the new VAs to be productive quickly, right? If, systems are in place, the client was able to create checklists of processes, task outline, and daily tools to use for their business. Even a simple Google spreadsheet is really helpful, because sometimes it's true that not all of the clients have all the system in place, right? But with just a simple Google spreadsheet, they can create a task list already for the VA. And it is also important that they give clear guidance and instructions, right? And it's important also to take time to speak with the VA to provide feedback and train them on things that they need to improve. And of course, maintain consistent communication using different communication channels.
All right, Sharon. So I'm going to tell you what I have a challenge with. And we've got about 9 minutes here. So here's my challenge always is the training part, right? That is always a big challenge for me because it requires a lot of time for me, right? And that's like, for me and Pavel, that's like the most precious thing.
Yeah.
So the challenge isn't communicating, because we communicate with all of our staff, our whole staff, through, it sounds weird, but through iMessenger, through the iPhone. That's how I communicate with everybody. I made little groups and I have them all there, and they communicate amongst themselves usually through Slack, but I don't go in there because I'll get lost. So the communication for me happens in iMessenger. So I suggest that for those of you that are listening, that you communicate consistently throughout the day, but find whatever you're great at communicating. And for you, Pavel, what does that look like communication wise?
Well, we use a lot of us just we do Skype. You know, we have a Skype group for a bunch of teams. They have they communicating in chats. You know, we also have WhatsApp. We have several WhatsApp groups. Telegram for some.
Okay.
And I mean, you can communicate. There are basically I can think of at least 15 different messaging types of platforms to communicate. It's not even a challenge.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is, you have to organize and don't put people who don't, you know, have nothing to do with it in those groups. And everybody have to have separate role. In an essence, like you say, you create a group for people who are in your team, but you can, you know, basically everybody's assigned. Like for example, we have a sales team. We have a sales team. Part of it is in the Philippines. Part of it is here in Washington State. They all in the same chat group in Skype. Um, Whenever the inquiries come in, you know, they basically address them. Also, we have Podium that they work on. But the main focus is like sometimes somebody goes on break, but let's say it's the way we do with the sales process. We have a round robin. So inquiry comes in, who's going to take the inquiry to respond? That's round robin system. However, some people log off for lunch. Some people go for break. You know, some people just log off for the day. So they have to inform everybody else that they're leaving. Let's say somebody's going, let's say Jenny's going on break. She says, I'm on break. So she knows any inquiry comes in while it's supposed to be hers, but if she's on break, it goes to the next person down the line. So we worked out the sales process in an essence that it's robust and that people, because, you know, salespeople, they getting commission, they all can be fighting over who's getting what. So
Yeah.
we've developed a robust system of lead distribution so that everybody knows the process
Okay.
and the communication is done in this chat group. So chat groups is very important
Okay.
because, you know,
Yeah,
anybody has an issue, they can come back and see.
oh, that
This is
makes
how we
sense.
communicate with the VAs too. So we're using Glip. That's Ring
Glip?
Central feature. Yeah,
And what
this is how we communicate.
I haven't
It's
used Glip. What is Glip? Messenger?
yes, it's a Ring Central feature where VAs and coaches communicate.
Nice. I like that. All right. So with that, communication definitely needs to happen throughout the day, right? That's how
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
that's one of the things that allows you to maintain your virtual staff working at a high level. The other one, like we said, is treating them with with actual human kindness, right?
They're not robots. They're not tools or equipment or systems.
Yeah.
They basically working for you, and in order for them to be more successful, because once if they're more successful, you're more successful. You need to basically have a communication channel, and you need to be checking with them daily, like you would be checking with the front desk girl at the office.
Yeah. And
I,
I prefer, like I said, iMessenger. Like
yeah,
some people do Messenger, WhatsApp, Glip, Podium, but the other part to this is they need to know where they're heading, right?
exactly.
And sometimes, Pavel, sometimes I forget to let them know, hey, this is the goal, right?
Yeah,
So because the organizations that have gotten so large, I have somebody like a virtual staff. I have heads of the virtual staffs. This way they can deliver that message and it doesn't get lost. So as you grow your virtual staff, make sure that you put one that's in charge or two, right, that work together that are in charge that deliver that message so that you're heading in the right direction. Because a lot of the time, Sharon, what's the number one reason that you see that people in general in all sales divisions that they let go of a virtual assistant? What's the main reason that you see?
Well, we've been discussing this during our meeting on, how we can improve on retention. Sometimes the VAs are being replaced by onshore assistant, or they are not, they don't have enough leads for the VAs, or sometimes it's business reorganization, right? But
Since they have no money,
we yeah,
usually.
right. So, but actually, we already have some action plan for it. So we've had weekly meetings, and we've been discussing on what are the action plan towards, improving client retention.
And I wanted actually to touch base on the reason. One of the reasons for cancellations of virtual assistant is when they hire in-house assistant to replace the VA. This goes to the mindset people feeling they need to have somebody physical in the office so that productivity is better because probably they think they see this person more. This person is going to be performing more.
Mhm.
I used to have that mindset as well. So what do? We have we have a hybrid team. We have in-house team and virtual team. Um, but the reason is also sometimes I speak with those people. I said, okay, so you're hiring somebody, you're going to be paying more expensive for the same tasks, right? And he says, well, yeah, but at least this person can prepare flyers and pass out the flyers. I said, during the pandemic, you're actually going to be giving out flyers? Really? And they're like, damn, you're right. So, and that goes back to like, I think people are creatures of habit, and habits are there. They just hard to let go of those habits, and they still think flyers. Actually have an agent in one of the real estate agents who comes to this office, since we still have brokerage here. She still prints out flyers. It's like, where are you gonna give them away? She's like, I'll give them away at the, pass around door knocking.
Yeah, that's
So
very true, man.
yeah,
And I
I
think,
guess it's Oh,
go ahead.
sorry. Yeah, I think it's an ongoing or onboarding process continues, right? Like for the new VA, they continue to nurture these VAs into highly productive and seasoned VAs. So I guess that it's really important that they build a good working relationship with the VA and the client.
I agree with you. All right, here to wrap it up, if you want this document that we shared, it's called How to Keep Your Virtual Assistant Working at the Highest Level. It goes through the processes. We can definitely send that over to you. And also, I recommend people always asking, well, how did you get started with VAs, right? It was Tim Ferriss's book, The 4 Hour Work Week. I didn't know what it was about reading it originally. I had no idea it was going to be about virtual assistants and building businesses with them. But that's what it's about. Who knew, man?
we need
Who
to we
knew?
need to get him. We need to get him on the webinar, bro.
Yeah, I reached out to his people through two of my friends.
Yeah,
He's not cheap. So,
I bet he's not.
but look, Pavel, thanks for joining us here,
Yeah.
man. Appreciate you. Sharon, happy birthday. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
Yeah, those
I
guys,
appreciate it.
those who registered for the webinar will send you the checklist. Since you register, we send you that checklist. And those who are watching on YouTube, please make sure to comment in the comments section with your email address, and our team will send it out to you. All right.
Appreciate that. Ruby says happy birthday to you. Sharon, she's also asking for the document. Ruby, we'll send that over to you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ruby.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody. See you
Thanks,
next time.
All
everyone.
right. All right.
Yeah.